And we are live. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here today on this Wednesday. Yeah, so a little bit different channel today. Like I said in my post, my channel got put in YouTube jail for speaking the truth. So for our Q&A on Friday, apparently we mentioned some hot topic words, some injectionary words that YouTube didn't like, and so I got a strike for medical misinformation, which when you get a strike, you can't post anything for a week. So fortunately, we're able to do it on this channel and keep the ball rolling because nothing's going to stop the truth from being shared. So yeah, just a little explanation there. And for anyone tuning into these shows for the first time, normally they're hosted on my channel, Wandering Toward Truth, but this week we're going to host it here. And I'll put it on my channel after the fact whenever I can. But essentially what these are is a Wednesday Q&A where we take questions from the community. We start with the emailed questions, and then we move into questions from the chat. And when I say we, it's because I'm always joined by the lovely Toni Weel, who is behind the scenes, and she is here to share her infinite wealth of knowledge and information on health and detox. So she's a licensed, or not a licensed, but an official, a certified detox specialist and iridologist trained under Dr. Morse. And essentially Toni has found her passion, which is to not only in finding her own health in her own, exploring her own healing journey, but helping to guide others onto this path. And it's essentially just going back to the diet that we're intended to consume, which is fruit-based frugivore diet, the raw living foods, the alkaline side of the spectrum, whereas organized society tries to steer us into the acidic side of the spectrum, which is where all diseases, if you can even call them that, stem from. It's just highly acidic nature. So if we can correct this, then we can get to the point where we don't have any of these ailments. So thank you for being here, Toni. And yeah, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Justin. I know now you are already on that journey for quite a while, and you gained a lot more knowledge in this year. I'm amazed what you already know.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun to learn about, for sure. There's a lot to it, but it is exciting to learn about.
Yeah, and we keep learning with every question that comes in from people. I always like to dig in deeper and see, there are always things that I still have to learn. And then I come across things that it's like, oh my gosh, this is really important. So we have to share this further. But when we go with the other question, or the questions that came in today, there was one about ingesting diatomaceous earth. And I've only used it to get rid of fleas. And what it does, it breaks up, of course, it breaks up the, always get distracted by that, and I can't stop it unless I dismantle half of my office. Okay, diatomaceous earth. It breaks the hard shell in fleas, for instance. And we say it is food safe. To me, if it can do that to fleas, I don't want it in my body. And that is, I know it's a simple answer, but why would you actually want to take diatomaceous earth in the first place? And Terry, I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer for you. You didn't tell me why you want to take it, because if I know why, then I probably have other options for you to do. The key is, if you take it, and if it has to do with parasites, there are way better things. If you want to have one simple, I think the most simple herb for parasites is wormwood. and the name already says it. And we do have a formula for it that takes care of all the bigger parasites, and another one that takes care of the microorganisms, so we can look into that. But I would stay away from diatomaceous earth. To me, it's like it didn't grow on a tree. It's not an herb. So I don't think I want it in my body. And that's the same as, to me, it goes in the same area as salts. You know, I don't know what's in it or what's so popular nowadays, fulvic acid. I mean, it's fertilizer. It doesn't matter how you want to look at it. It is plant food, and it's great for plants. And I think diatomaceous earth has something to do with plants too, that you can use it for plants. So we look at it as plant foods and not people food. If it's not a food or not an herb, and it's made or subtracted in the lab, you know, a lab is needed, certain things are needed, and it's not meant to be in our body. I know it's really simple the way I explain it, but maybe you can add something to it, Justin.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of knowledge on consuming it internally either. I would imagine it might have a similar effect to, you know, taking activated charcoal. It might be good in sort of like a maybe almost like an emergency detox sort of kind of way. But it doesn't, I'd have to agree that I don't think it's meant to be consumed on a regular basis for sure. And then there probably are better things to accomplish. So yeah, like Tony said, we kind of need to know what you're trying to do with it to see if that's a feasible option. But yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with it. I use it for keeping bugs away. It's a great natural bug repellent because you can make a line of it around doorways and windows and whatnot, and bugs will not cross it because it binds to the bugs skins pretty thoroughly and keeps them away. So I use it to keep the scorpions out of the house. So that's what I use it for. But internally, I don't have much experience, so I can't add much more than that.
Well, that is what it was originally used for. I don't know why so many times I see people want to use something that it wasn't meant for that. And I don't even, first thing that comes now in my mind is something that is highly, highly suggested to use with something we cannot talk about.
Right.
And it's actually flea medication. And I'm like, oh, well, oh yeah, we have to say nowadays, Justin, that any information that we give out, it is definitely not medical information. It is for educational purposes only, or, and I like this one, for entertainment.
Yeah,
So,
essentially you're responsible for yourself. If you try and blame other people for your problems or what you get yourself into, then that's not going to fly here. It's essentially
no,
what we're saying.
we are really, we have to get to the healthier part. Anyway, the other question was about the pineal glands, and the way it was asked, I was thinking about it. Is oh, it's also from Terry. Can one get melatonin if the pineal gland is not activated? And I was struggling a little with the part of not activated. And our pineal gland is working. I mean, it is a gland. It's in the center of the brain. It's actually the one that has the pine cone shape. I think we all know that, the people that are on this call. But it secretes melatonin, and that plays a role in the body's internal clock. Now, what exactly it is and what it can do, and I have to mention this too. There was a French philosopher, René Descartes. He thought that the soul was located in the pineal gland. Now, this goes back to the 17th century. And that is something that I always heard, and I know very little about it. The pineal gland, that is, yeah, it is the key to the body's internal clock, and it regulates the what is it, the body's circadian rhythms. But it does more than that. It is it releases a lot of melatonin when it's dark, and that's way it's people related it to sleep. But there are other functions, and I thought those were actually important because the sleep part we do know. Now, they say that the decline in a pineal gland that comes with age, and it could affect bone metabolism. But that again, and like osteoporosis, has to do with the pituitary glands and with absorption of calcium. Now, when we know that the pineal gland tends to decline with age, there's actually been a study done on that. If people take oral melatonin, if it helps increase the bone mass. But that doesn't make sense to me, because when you take it, the body stops making it. So that study is not clear to me what they claim here. And it is also linked to mental health. But it's actually logic, because if you have sleep deprivation, that can, cause mental problems. And it can cause depression. There were a few things that symptoms where the pineal glands, oh yeah, I remember. That is a headache, nausea, vomiting, tremors, difficulty with sense of direction, change in fertility, menstrual cycle, ovulation, and osteoporosis, and then the mental health. So, but I'm still a little puzzled with people in the whole industry who tells people to take melatonin to make it better. And we cannot take outside sources to fix something in the body. It's only with fruit, and fruit is not actually the healing part in the body. It's usually the part that you take out in the food, I mean, and what you take in. And with taking the melatonin, and then after a while you are, well, what is it? You're hooked on it. You have to keep using it. Otherwise, you can't sleep at all anymore. So that actually tells us enough that we should not take it. Now, to come back to the part of activation, if a pineal gland is not activated, I think you and Charlie actually know more about that than I do. I only know the part, what is the gland doing? It secretes hormones, but in what way? So now I put the question to you, is the activation part. Because they have told us so many times that, oh, your pineal gland is not working anymore because it's calcified. And I don't see how that has to do with the activation parts. Can you explain that even to me, Justin?
Sure. Yeah. So my understanding, and I'm sure Charlie could elaborate much more than this, but my understanding is that, yes, they have gone great lengths to calcify our pineal, because everything in organized society is designed to disconnect us from God, disconnect us from ourselves, disconnect us from each other. It's all about disconnection. So the pineal is the portal to connect with God. It is this way for us to speak with the divine. So they try and sever this physically through the calcification, through things like fluoride and other substances that make it not function as well. But what they don't realize is that the connection is much more energetic. It's much more ethereal than physical. So it doesn't really matter how damaged. I mean, it does to an extent, but I just want to caution people from getting too fixated on this fact that, oh, I've got to decalcify my pineal before I can truly connect with God. Because once you start using it, once you start truly being still and going within and you focus on the alkalinity in the rest of your body, just by using it, you decalcify it, and it becomes working once again. So it shifts from this the I think the allegory is it shifts from the desert sand to the diamond. So it forms a diamond, and it's able to work and function properly. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of my understanding of the pineal activation. Is it's a much more than we think of, just an energetic activation, and it's done through will and through our doing the work. Everything that we talk about and what you have to do, we'll clean it up right away. So no one needs to worry. If we worry, we're staying in the acidic side. So don't worry about your pineal gland and the calcification and all these different things you have to do. It is good to detox just for the rest of your health, so that you can be in that space of stasis and able to be more still and silent. But specifically focusing on decalcifying the pineal gland, don't get too fixated on that, because it's going to happen regardless, as long as you're on the right path. So that's been my understanding on the matter. I don't really have too much more I can say on it other than that.
Yeah, I don't think it will not fully calcify. I mean, we've been taking in so much junk, and the body has constantly adjusted to it. And we are all looking for more help. That's why we're here. And we know what to do, and that is leave the offending foods out. And yeah, that includes the chloride in the water, or chloride, the fluoride in the water. And yeah, I personally have been using for many years filters on everything, including my shower, to not take a bath or a shower with fluoridated water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still in the water. I mean, it's like you still can't get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a few herbs that are known as pineal gland decalcifiers. And one is a very good one. It's also good for the liver. It's actually milk thistle. And another one is, oh my God, what is the name? It's moringa. Moringa seems to be good for a lot of things. And they said it's used as a natural water filter, actually, in many countries. I had not heard about that. That's a good one. Hey, I remember one time I was looking for an avocado tree, which I actually bought probably at least 5 years ago. My avocado tree was nice enough to never have any fruits on it. It's still the same size as it was 5 years ago. It didn't grow, it didn't die, it's still there. Knowing I don't need avocados. Mm-hmm. But the nursery where I had it, this man was so enthusiastic about the moringa tree. I had to have one, and I was like, no, I don't need it. I have the moringa powder already. But I'm thinking now maybe I should, because it is a great it's actually a tree. It's not necessarily even an herb.
And I think it grows fruit as well, maybe.
I don't know. I've only seen it with these little leaves on it. But
it grows well here. I know. And any sort of warm climate, it grows well. But apparently it's really easy to grow too. Like, it doesn't require much once it gets started. But
oh yes, it does. I had to look it up. Sorry. The moringa tree's fruit resembles long, thin beans or pea pods. During vegetative growth, they are white in color, changing to brown when they reach maturity. The seeds inside, which are highly prized by local populations as the fruit, numbers between 5 to 20 per fruit. Okay, the seed pods of the moringa are one of the most, and of course the last is, you have to go to the website. They are one of the most nutritive and useful parts of this fertile plant. The seed pods are used both as highly nutritious food source and in a variety of traditional and modern medical treatment. Well, what I have is actually even the powder is from the leaves. So you dry the leaves and it can be powdered, or you put the leaves in the smoothie.
Hmm.
So it seems to have a nutritional value. And actually, I learned now so we always think about just the fruit trees and the herbs, and I haven't looked into it too much, but a lot of the leaves are edible of trees. Don't we sometimes see monkeys picking the leaves of trees and eat them?
Yeah, just like a salad.
Maybe we can too. I haven't thought of that. And moringa also helps with blood pressure and blood sugar, kidneys. And, I haven't checked actually if it is in Dr. Morse's formulas. I would think so, but I would have to check. But that is something that I do use myself. I put the powder in the smoothie. Okay, did you have any questions? Because if I missed them, I don't know.
Yeah, we had one in the chat so far. Question is there from Abigail, is there a natural remedy for paroxysmal atrial fibrillation, which is irregular heartbeats?
It's the same as all the other things. I had it myself. We do have an herbal formula that is called Heart Heart Health. Can you tell? I just took a nap. I woke up 10 minutes before the call. It's called Heart Health Formula. I had heart problems, and what I took for it actually, and to avoid any medication, is for a while. That was way before I was on a raw diet with mostly fruit, and that is actually hawthorn is a very well-known one, and hawthorn and cayenne and garlic. But when your kidneys are filtering and you get your lymph moving, you will see that your heart will getting better. Because for me, it completely went away, and I also had 2 heart attacks, so I had a host of problems with my heart, and it's like I don't have any now, and I'm not taking any medication or anything extra for it. And the heart health from Dr. Morse is well, yeah, I do add that to my regimen when I am on the formulas. And I'm not always using them. It's maybe 3 months, and then I stop for a while. And so your diet is actually the most important.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the same solution for any ailment that we experience. It's all about getting on to the alkaline diet, which is the primarily fruit-based diet, or 100% fruit-based diet if you really want to be serious about it. And then you can use herbs to kind of target certain areas and expedite the healing process a bit, but it's a simple solution of alkalinity with the fruit.
Yeah, we always keep coming back to that because there is just no other way.
No.
And I think it's actually beautiful the way that we can be in control ourselves. We don't have to rely on outside sources.
No.
I mean, it's everybody's choice, but it's my choice not to.
Yep. There was one emailed question that we got, and it's from Melissa. She said, hello, I have malabsorption showing up in both my eyes. There's a dark gray ring around my pupil. I've been transitioning into more of a fruit diet, and immediately my bloating has gone down tremendously, along with increase in energy. I also noticed that I get full very fast after juice, and I do not eat as much. My stools are still loose, still not sure what the bowel movement should be like to show that I am getting better. I currently have Dr. Morse's stomach kidney capsules along, and adrenal capsules along with the superfood capsules. Would these help? What would you recommend to allow my intestines to absorb the nutrients better?
That would, well, first of all, get your kidneys filtering. And while you're on the kidney formulas and the adrenal, and once your kidneys are filtering, you add the lymph formula to it. That comes in mild, strong, and well, there's another one before mild. And comes in 3, I think it is 3. And the GI Renew, that helps to heal your GI tract. And that one comes in number 0 to 5, which means if you have diarrhea, you use 0. If you have only a bowel movement every 3 days, you use 5. So you go with the variation of numbers. Mm-hmm. What it does, it helps heal your GI tract, but normally you have a bowel movement 1 hour after you eat, which is the normal way. With fruit, we don't really have the meals like we used to have, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then have a bowel movement an hour after that. Usually with fruit, you get hungry, you grab something, or you get a smoothie and you zip it down. And should we still have a bowel movement an hour after that? It's not that, it's not so much on the clock as it is when you have a really full meal. Absorption has to do with cleaning out your GI tract, your bowels. And for that, we have what is called GI broom. And or GI sweep. It's from another company, but it's the same stuff. And you need to get rid of the mucoid plaque in your colon. And once that happens, then you can absorb your nutrients. It all works together. You all do that at the same time. Mm-hmm. Say that you start with your protocol and you're 2-3 weeks in on the GI Renew and the other formulas, and you're well hydrated, and then you start using the GI broom. Hydration is the most important part. That what you do with your with any diet, actually. I still haven't been able to get away from that word diet.
Yeah. I guess lifestyle consumption. Yeah. There's not really a good word.
No, it's not, because, and it's the same with detox. Detox has been used for anything and everything. It's just a healing process. Mm-hmm. It's a journey.
Well, and that's what I would say to Melissa too, is you said I have been transitioning, but how long have you been transitioning? We need to be patient with this process and know that it's going to take some time before we clear out our bowels, depending on how much gunk is accumulated within there. And yes, there are formulas that Toni mentions, following a protocol like that can help expedite it, but we're still talking months, potentially years before we are fully cleaned out. And that just depends on how consistent you are with it. So the harder you go at it, which means the more consistent you are with being all fruit, all juicy fruit, it's going to sort of help move the process along. But it still varies from person to person, just depending on your constitution, how well you adjust, and what's going on with you. So you just you have to be patient. You have to know that this is the right path. This is the right way to do it, and then just stay consistent and stay patient with it. So yeah, great job, Melissa. Keep up the good work, but just know that you're on the right path and you'll get there eventually if you stay with it.
Yeah, you're well on your way, Melissa. What I would do actually, and you always have to realize that what food you put in your body is the most important part. It's, we'll say diet is the most important. It's the food you take in. It's not the herbs. If you still eat meat and dairy and eggs and you take herbs, you're wasting your money. That's how I see it. Mm-hmm. If you want to get rid of the junk in your colon, and then I would, and transitioning to me means that you're not fully raw, that you still eat the fats, the nuts, the seeds, you know, and hopefully no meat, dairy, and eggs, but or you know, cooked food, the fermented food, processed foods. So when you're not eating that stuff anymore, then you already transitioned in a, you know, fully raw diet. So you leave out the cooked foods, and then you start in a week or a month later, you leave out the nuts, the seeds, the oils, the tahini, everybody's favorite. And then go on all fruit. First you have all raw, and then you go on all fruit, and say do that for a month, and then incorporate 3 days of fruit juices. Then do a day only water. Then go back to your 3 days, or maybe now you can do it longer, on all fruits, and then eat fruit again, and you know, cycle that process. And then even without the herbs, it may take a little longer, but even without the herbs, you will see junk coming out, and you will start experiencing detoxing, more health. But the slower that you do it, the less detox symptoms that you have. So never just jump in from eating whatever into a water fast. And I talked to a lot of people who did that, and they got violently ill, which means they stop and say it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is you're shocking your body. And so take it slow. That's the best way that you can do. And if there are times that you know, eating out with friends, with family, it happens. And you know, it is important too. And you feel that you can't be on all fruit, my gosh, you know, enjoy a meal once in a while, another meal, but stay away. Of course, you will forever, stay away from the meat, dairy, and eggs. And because that is the lifestyle change. You will, you know, and don't feel that you have to put yourself in a box like, oh, I'm a raw vegan, or I'm a plant-based, and so all is good. No, it comes to the all raw, but mostly fruit. So that is the best advice that I can actually give anybody who's listening with these things, and you have issues. Well, that's why you're probably here, is doing it that way, and doing it slow. And don't beat yourself up and say, oh my gosh, I cheated and now it's bad. No, there's the next day you start again. And is it easy? No, I can't say that staying the course. I would lie if I say it's easy, because I struggle with it, and I give in to the the avocados again. I gave up the tahini. I was smart enough to do that, the tahini and the hummus. But and you can do it. You can absolutely do it and be happy with it. And the struggles with malabsorption are real, and detox symptoms are real too. But if we know that we can heal, take your time and enjoy it. And there are so many fun things that you can do. It's like, I always come back to the rebounding on the grass instead of the bed. Yeah, the easy rebounding, going out in nature, enjoying things, listening. You know, my favorite here is listening to all these, what is it, crickets that are all high in the tree and that make that noise. I think we talked about that before.
Cicadas. Yeah, the cicadas.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought cicadas were only once every so many years.
No, they're every year. There are certain types of cicadas that come rarely.
Okay, it is absolutely beautiful. They are high in the tree, and they all start or stop at the same time. And then it's like, you don't hear them in that tree, and now you hear them in the next tree. It's amazing, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, they're singing.
So, and enjoy nature, and enjoy the little things in life that you do. And even for us, you know, living in the city, there are always ways that you can get out. Do things that you enjoy. Do things that you do specifically for you. Because as women, we are caregivers. There's no way around it. We take care of others before we take care of ourselves. And I'm absolutely guilty of that. It's way easier to take care of others than do it for ourselves. And that is something that we have to learn. I think that is what it is. Have to learn, have to see how important it is, and how important it is to enjoy life. Now, the beauty for me was when I stopped, never been a meat eater actually, but I stopped eating any and all animal products 6 years ago now, 5, 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. And it was like I was feeling so much lighter. Everything became so much easier, although I was still pretty sick, but things were easier. They were happier. I felt happier. And then I learned it's like the difference in frequency. I didn't even know anything about it, but there was definitely a big difference. But I was still eating cooked food, so I wasn't there by a long shot. And once I was on all raw, that is where the real change started to happen. And feeling good, feeling happier, feeling more balanced. Isn't that strange how it even can balance out in your body? And I know Charlie and you too, you talk about meditation. I've never given myself the time to really get into it. And I think for me now, at the level that I have reached with feeling balanced, it's off sometimes. I think that the meditation part would be the icing on the cake, actually. But
Yeah,
it's all things that you do for you, because you are the most important person actually in your life. You always think that it's other people, but it's you.
when we can't truly take care of anyone until we've taken care of ourselves, put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. It's got to start with you, and that's why it's got to start with your health. That's why it's such a powerful platform to have as your foundation, your health. And when you have that, then you can move into the higher realms with the meditation and going within stillness and silence in that way. And that's why the Bible and Jesus talks about the baptism of water must be done first. This is the cleansing of the body, and then followed by the baptism of fire, which is the cleansing of the mind. But it's done in that order because that's the most effective way of making that happen well. So yeah, we had another question from Amy Harrington. She said, what about activation of pineal gland with crystals or certain stones? I don't have a lot of experience with what stones do different things. And I know there are a lot of people who study that, and I'm sure there's a lot of validity to it. I'm sure there's also a lot of sort of just extra fluff thrown out there as well, so it'd be hard to know what exactly does what. But crystals and stones and things of that nature, I mean, they're they're powerful in and of themselves. They're solidified ether of that's found scattered throughout the earth. So they are preserved energy in different forms, and the different colors is just a different spectrum of energy. So of course it would make sense for these different colors and different combinations to do different things, different crystalline structures to form and sort of pinpoint the energy in different ways. But I don't have any direct knowledge on what would be good for pineal gland. But I'm sure certainly they can help. I love crystals. I think they're beautiful, but other than just loving to look at them, I don't have a lot of knowledge.
I think the everything out in nature is there that is helping us. It's not only the herbs and the fruits, it's definitely certain stones, and I love crystals. Magnetism is used a lot. I would love to connect with somebody that we can actually put on our Freak Sense World site who is really, really in depth into the crystals. I met someone at actually at Dr. Morse's classes who had a class over there, and that was only about crystals. So yeah, I got a few crystals, but do I specifically know about the effect? No, or on the pineal gland? No, but I'm pretty sure that it will affect us. And Actually, we can actually find that. There is somebody writes here, the pineal gland's full purpose is still a bit of a mystery to the scientific world. Yeah, scientific world. I think we kind of turned away from it. We like to experience it for ourselves. But there are a variety of crystals that may be used to activate the pineal glands. And examples of this would be copper, diamond, gold, halite, malachite, milky quartz, sugilite, silver, and zircon. Now, there is something throughout the ages, not only women, but men, just all men have been wearing necklaces or chokers, which is an odd word for a necklace, but that is what it is called. Now I wonder if that would actually, because it's so close to our brain, if that would affect it. Because I have been wearing a silver necklace with a small crystal. Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn about it.
Some more to look into it.
Yeah. Karen asks, hello, know anything about Meniere's disease? I think I have this. I do not know anything about that other than all diseases are made up and they're just acidosis. So it's the same solution to everything. But as far as specifically that one, I don't have any further knowledge.
No, I do know, I do know what it is. There's another word for it, which I had to do with veterans. But yeah, what you say, it's like at any time, whatever name it was given, and there was, well, how many names for diseases? Was it about 7,000?
Too many.
In that one body of us, you know, every little thing, a prick in your finger has a new name now. And then they have, like, with 7,000 diseases, they have 700,000 solutions for it that don't work. It's with anything that you have, go back to clearing out your body, detox it, get the heavy metals, any metals, whatever is in your body that doesn't belong there, detox it out. You can do that with all fruits and assist it with the herbs.
Yep.
I found that the blue coral is one of the crystals that have good vibes for both the pituitary and the pineal glands. And it says for ages, coral, say coral or coral?
Coral
has been used to develop the mystic side of the human psyche, and also for tissue regeneration and blood circulation. Interesting. Notice that the physical structure of coral is quite similar to the structure of the brain, which houses the pituitary and the pineal glands. The brain coral, for example, and there is another one that is called ametrine. This is a website that is called crystalsgems.com. So you can find more information there. We're still learning too. We have to look it up. There's so much information everywhere that yeah,
it's a lot to wade through. So
but it's always interesting.
Absolutely, it's always fun.
There is one thing that that has to do with the water filters. People are wanting to take iodine and to help removing fluorides. You can use it actually to remove fluoride from the tap water. Taking in iodine as is, like in that Lugol solution, is not really healthy for you. What you can do is you use seaweed with high iodine contents. So it is in a plant. That is then the better option. And the iodine binds with the fluoride in the body, sort of a chelation. And that way it can help remove it from the body. I use dose only. But that's because I like it.
Yeah, it is tasty.
Yeah, those flakes. And if you open the bag, then it smells like you're standing at the ocean, like that.
So Regina Kraus asks, hi, Justin and Tony, is freckles a liver dysfunction, or is freckles not spreading melatonin properly, only in spots everywhere?
Oh yeah, and that I'm the freckled girl, a redhead, top to toe freckles. And I cannot say I hated him, but until I learned about Dr. Morse, he actually mentioned that it was not normal. And I'm like, I don't like that because I like my freckles. No, it has not. It has not to do with the liver, but it has to do with the pigmentation in your skin. And I'm actually happy to say, on all fruit, they did not go away. I don't want them to go away.
Yeah, but you won't gain any more, most likely.
Do you know what they changed over the years? My mother had freckles and they were big ones, and I was like, I don't like your big ones. I like my tiny ones, but my tiny ones have gotten bigger. So there is a change, but no, I still have the freckles, and when I get out in the sun, then it's pretty visible. Well, yeah, I'm used to it, so I don't even realize it. You know, with that, when we talk about freckles and the hair color, is that when you are on all fruit for quite a while, that your original hair color can come back.
Wow.
So we can say all the ones who still have white hair when they are in the 70s, they don't stick to their all fruits all the time. I'm not going to mention the name now. Everybody is getting on my back then.
Yeah, he likes to have fun too.
Oh yeah, he likes his Indian foods once in a while, and I do too, but I always pay dearly for it. So it's like, no, I should not. Which is, yeah, I sometimes something that I read in one of the groups today, and didn't have to do directly with a person, but actually with our dogs. If we feed our dogs the diet that is for their species, and they clean out and they get very healthy, then you give them kibble, then the dry food, they die.
Wow.
They don't live long anymore. And she mentioned that it had to do with the buildup as a sort of a protection in the GI tract that can handle the kibble. Now that of course made me think. Her name is Lauren Whiteman. You would definitely look her up on Facebook because she has so much knowledge. Her gnosis is absolutely amazing, and that made me think about, okay, now we go to an all healthy diet, the all raw, the mostly fruit, and then we eat a pizza. I did it, and my kidneys hurt for 3.5 days. So can we go back to eating bad food? It's like, I don't think so. Because, you know, if you do that, then you undo everything that you healed. Because a body that is healthier or getting healthier doesn't want the junk food anymore. So then it shows up in with pains, aches and pains, and an uncomfortable feeling all over your body. It can be headaches. A lot of mucus. That's another thing. You know, keep coughing. That's another thing when you when you hear somebody talking about a healthy diet and eating fruit and then keep coughing. It's like, oh, what did you eat today?
Yeah, I mean, the straight and narrow path, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to turn around once you get on it. So, and that's a mercy, because it's God keeping us on the path so that we can keep going, keep doing what we ultimately want to be doing, which is rising, not falling. So. Yeah,
yeah, but it's also when things happen, you know, we shouldn't beat her up. Colleen is known for saying, when we know better, we have to do better, and it's absolutely true, and we can do better. And that when we do better, you actually feel better about yourself. I mean, that is important. You know, how what you do makes you feel. But sometimes I do wonder, the struggles that we have, if it, you know, we can say when we have cravings that is related to the parasites in our body and we haven't cleaned it out. Yeah, I think that is a big part. But my gosh, how have we been? We grew up with eating out. You know, when we have to celebrate something, we eat something special, or we make a special meal. Look at all the holidays, the big ones that coming around, and it's everything is always about food. And in a way, I think the food sharing is absolutely beautiful. But and that will come up in the next few months. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see my family now. What am I going to do? And what I would do is like find an absolutely delicious raw recipe, and you can find it online. Just Google or DuckDuck, whatever you want to do it. Type in raw vegan. Oh, what is that? What are the holidays called? It's not just the Christmas, but what is the other one? Thanksgiving. Raw vegan Thanksgiving dinner recipe. And make something for your family, or try it out first if it came out well. But then make something, and that is a really easy way to introduce people that there are other options than what they are eating. Because when you just tell them, they don't want to listen. It's like, no, I don't need that. But when you make it, and because you made it, of course they will eat it. I've done that. I took care of a gentleman for about 8 years, and he passed away 2.5 years ago, and he was 103.5. And I sneaked in my raw food recipes. Not for him, not knowing what it was, because I wasn't going to tell. They always wanted to know, what did you use? What are the ingredients? I'll only tell you after you ate it. And they did, loved it. And then I told them what was in there, and they were surprised. But that is actually a fun way of doing it. You know, don't make it a drag, don't make it difficult, and don't worry about it. There are ways that you can make delicious food that's still good for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we had another question from Lori Williams. Is there something to take to help with microscopic colitis? And just quickly, you just want to stop eating the things that are causing acidity in your colon. So get onto the fruit, stop eating the animal products, and look into mucusless foods and really get on that. I'm sure there are some herbs that can help, but if you're not addressing the root cause of the issue, then it's not really gonna repair.
Microscopic colitis, what is that?
I just know that colitis is that's where you have what's it called, like lesions in your colon.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. That is the same thing, and that is where we have the herbs in the GI Renew for that helps heal it, but only if you change your way of eating. And that comes always first. It doesn't matter what diagnose you get and what symptoms you have. Always look at what is the food that you eat and how does it make you feel, because it's one of the 7,000 symptoms that the medical industry invented and gave it a name. And you can probably only find it by a colonoscopy, which I am definitely not, I would never ever do in my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again the diet.
So we'll make this the last question. And I know there are a bunch of other questions in the chat. Just want to tell everyone that we prioritize the questions sent to us by email. So if you want to get your questions answered on a future show, please email Toni at healthywithfruit@gmail.com. That's listed in the show notes. or myself at understandingtruth@gmail.com, and we'll keep your questions in the queue to answer. But the ones in the chat, we will only get to as many as we get to within the hour time slot. So with that, the last question we'll get to is from Nancy Hellstrom, which is an important one. So she asked, what is a good way to begin moving the lymph and filtering kidneys? So Toni, do you want to jump into that one?
Yeah, the filtering the kidney is, again, it's the process of transitioning to all fruit. And once you are on all fruit and then on all the juices, and keep checking if your kidneys are filtering, and if they are a little stubborn and they don't filter, say after a month or 2 months. And for some people it can take 6 months, or others are like 2 years. But the things that you can do and is well, of course, the herbs that we have. And there are, even if you do not want to get on Dr. Morris's herbal formulas, look into kidney teas. There are plenty around there, organic kidney teas, because you cannot get the formulas everywhere. And once your kidneys are filtering and showing some sediment in the urine, and check that in the morning, never let it sit longer than up to 6 hours. And keep an eye on that. I'm not telling you to do it every day, just do it once in a while. And then once you have some, get your lymph to move, and that is by light exercising, the rebounding. And there are lymph formulas or lymph herbs specifically for that. You can do, dry brushing. You can do lymph massage, but you have to be really careful if you go to a professional massage. How do you pronounce that?
Masseuse, yeah.
For lymph massage, because they tend to do it the incorrect way. And that the same happens with dry brushing. So on my video channel, and you can get there by toniweel.com/videos. There are 2 videos that show you the right way to do it. And I would definitely follow that. Another thing that you can do, and you can actually do that even when your kidneys are not really filtering yet, is cold, hot, cold showers. Always start with cold, always end with cold. If you don't want to do a full body, then only do it in the back of your neck. That will help a little too. So yeah, those are the things that you can do.
Yeah, and just to add to those, one thing that I've been experimenting with is castor oil packs on the kidneys. And Toni mentioned it in a previous show of actually stimulating the area with by dry brushing it until the skin is red, and then rubbing cayenne powder on there. And and then you put the castor oil pack on, and you put a heating pad on top of that, and this really helps the castor oil to soak into the kidney area, which can help stimulate that. I haven't seen, a major noticeable effect since doing it. I've only done it a couple times, but my kidneys are filtering as well. I just haven't noticed them increase in any way. But that's something you could try. And then also, beets are apparently really good for kidneys as well. So some people will do a juice feast, a juice cleanse on just beet juice for a day or 2 or 3. And that can really help stimulate the kidneys as well. And there are other sort of herbs and things you can juice that are really stimulating for the kidneys to kind of help get them moving along, because sometimes they can be stubborn. But yeah, it is important to get that moving first before you start trying to focus on the lymph system. Otherwise, you're just going to be moving acids around that can't go anywhere.
Yeah, be careful with the amount of cayenne. Really be careful with it. You only need very, very little.
Yeah, it can burn.
It heats it up, especially when you did dry brushing before. I would like the lady who has the microscopic colitis get in touch with me, because having constant watery diarrhea is not good. So that needs to be addressed first, and I have some options for that.
Great. Yeah, and just for everyone, that's always an option to reach out to Toni to get a consultation and speak with her. She is very generous with her time, and she doesn't charge people money. It's all donation based, but she does have, you know, some sort of prices to gauge things off of. But Toni is extremely generous with how she helps people, and even if you can't support financially, she's going to help you in some way or another. So don't hesitate to reach out if you do need some extra help. Same with me. I don't have as much experience in the field, but I have been learning quite a bit, and my one-on-ones are always open and available to people if people want to speak more about anything, and we can dive into health, or we can dive into, you know, what is your purpose here in this realm. I like talking about all sorts of stuff, so that's always an option. And so yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out in the community. We have a lot of really knowledgeable people, a lot of great groups, especially if you go on to the FreakSense, a FreakSense World website, which if you haven't gotten on there yet, you are missing out. Toni has put that together, and it's coming along. I mean, it's beautiful. It works well. It's simple. It's a space where we can connect and stay in touch and not have to worry about censorship. So there's a link to join that in the show notes to get on there. And that's going to be the only space where Charlie's sharing his work. He's still sharing a few other places for now, but eventually it's going to transition completely over to the website only. So if you're not on there, and it's free to join, so there's no reason not to be, you're going to be missing out on Charlie's post. So make sure you sign up for that and get over there and just admire the beautiful work that Toni's done to get that all put together. So yeah, with that, did you have any closing comments for today's show?
I wish everyone a beautiful week with a peaceful feeling. How is that? A peaceful, balanced feeling. Enjoy your life. Know that you can do it, whatever you set your mind to, and have all a wonderful healing journey. And just look at it that way. It's a healing journey. And you can do it. I love everyone.
Yeah.
Until the next time.
Yep. We love y'all. Y'all take care.